We're in Bridge right now, auditioning some frames, and I've selected these two group shots. In one pose, we had the group looking into the lens, and in the other pose, we had the bride and groom beginning to kiss, with the rest of the group looking on. I want to create a new shot from bits and pieces of these two frames. I want to keep most of this image, and bring in the bride and groom, and this gal from the other shot. In the second frame, this young fellow decided he needed to be part of the group shot, but at the same time, he was a little shy. I think he adds a lot of emotion to the group, so we'll include him in the final frame as well. To get started, we'll go to Tools, Photoshop, and choose Load Files into Photoshop Layers. Photoshop opens up with the two frames loaded in as layers. If I take a look at the two layers, I'm noticing that the lower layer is cool in comparison with the top layer. I'll fix this by selecting the lower layer and then adding in a photo filter adjustment layer. Let's audition some filter choices. I like Warming Filter 81. I'll commit to this by selecting the lower layer and the adjustment layer and then pressing Ctrl E, Command E on a Mac to merge these layers. Before I start blending these two frames, I need to align them more closely. As I toggle this frame on and off, we can see how far apart they are from each other. I'll have Photoshop do this for me. With both layers selected, we'll go to the Edit menu and choose Auto Align Layers. The dialog box pops up, and we'll leave Auto selected and simply click the OK button. With the Auto Align completed, I'll move the lower layer to the top position, because it'll be easier to paint in the parts we want. Now we'll add a black mask to this layer. With the top layer selected and holding down the Alt key, Option on a Mac, we'll click on the mask icon and the black mask is created. We'll start painting in elements from the top layer by applying a medium soft white brush to the mask. We'll adjust the brush's hardness to 50%, and then we'll paint in the kissing bride and groom. To help me see where I've brushed, I'll Alt-Shift-click the mask, that's Option-Shift-click on a Mac, and now we can see where we've been. I'll continue brushing in the bride and groom. I'll then turn the mask overlay off by clicking the mask while holding down the Alt-Shift keys. That's the Option and Shift key on the Mac. Now I'll zoom in using Ctrl+, Command+ on a Mac, and brush in this young woman. We end up seeing part of the fence from the other frame. We'll need to address this before we're done, but right now, let's continue bringing elements in. I also want to reveal the child, so we'll paint him in as well. Now we have two different arm segments here. No problem. We'll just keep painting in parts we need here. All the elements are now in, and if I toggle the top layer on and off, we can see the before and after at this point. Next, we'll crop the image. I want this to be a horizontal 8x10. We'll click the Crop tool, and then in this first drop-down, we'll choose Width, Height, and Resolution. The width and height fields are currently blank, but the resolution field has a value of 300 in it. We'll keep that and ensure the value is in pixels per inch. I'll then fill in the width and height values, and now we can adjust our crop. I'll pull down the top edge to hide the transparent parts, and raise the bottom edge to hide some of the transparent areas. I don't want to crop into his shoe, and I think I can better center the shot. I don't want to keep the cropped out parts at this time, so we'll check the Delete Crop Pixels checkbox. Okay, now we can right-click and choose Crop, and our crop is done. We're almost done. We need to fix this area, and we want to clean up this fence section here. To begin with, we'll clone stamp our two layers. With the top layer selected, key in Ctrl-Shift-Alt-E, that's Command-Shift-Option-E on a Mac. This creates a merged version of our two layers and places the new layer on top. Then we'll create a safety backup using Ctrl-J, Command-J on a Mac. Let's zoom into our problem area and click the lasso tool. We'll set our feathering value to 1. Now any cloning we do will be confined to the selected area. We'll select the clone stamp brush and Alt or Option click an area of the fence we like. Photoshop will now show us what the clone will look like within the cursor when we click, so we'll line up the lattice here and paint it in. Using a smaller brush, we'll clean it up a little more. When we're done, we'll press Ctrl D, Command D on a Mac, to deselect our selection area. Now on to the corner problem. With the clone tool still selected, I press and hold the space bar. While it's held down, the cursor changes to a hand, and we can now drag our view to the corner of the image. When I release the space bar, the cursor changes back to the clone tool. With a small, soft brush, I'll sample various spots and paint in the transparent areas. When I'm done, I'll press Ctrl 0, Command 0 on a Mac to fit the image on the screen. Here's the before, and here's after. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. To learn more about Valley Photo Workshops, I hope you'll visit the site, valleyphotoworkshops.com. Thanks for watching.